Before the cock crowed that morning in Umadara village, a woman stood in her compound holding a carved wooden scepter. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, from satisfaction. Behind her mud house, for small graves rested under the mango tree. For children, her children, and before the sun would rise again, someone else would join them. But nobody in the village suspected Mom Nkem, not even her husband, not even the pastor who prayed in her house every week. Everyone believed she was a broken mother, a woman cursed by tragedy. But tragedy was only the mask. Wickedness held the scepter, and Mom Nkem was its queen. The first child died on a rainy night. Little Chinedu, 7 years old. The boy had complained of stomach pain after eating yam porridge his mother cooked. Before morning, he was gone. The village mourned. Mom Nkem cried louder than everyone. She rolled on the ground. She tore her wrapper. She screamed to heaven, "God, why me?" But nobody noticed something strange. While she cried, her eyes never produced tears, only sound. 2 years later, the second child died. Adiz, beautiful girl with bright laughter. She collapsed while fetching water from the stream. Some women said it was a snake bite. Others whispered about evil spirits. Mom Nkem fainted during the burial. The villagers pitied her. Some women carry terrible destiny, the elders said. But Mama Nkem only tightened her grip on the wooden scepter hidden inside her box. The third child died during Harmattan. Obina, strong boy. He fell sick suddenly and started speaking strange words before his last breath. That night, an old woman in the village claimed she saw a shadow moving across Mama Nkem's compound. But when she told people, they laughed. Old age is confusing your eyes. The fourth child died last. Baby Kamsi, only 3 months old. The baby stopped breathing while sleeping beside her mother. By then the whole village feared the house. Some called it cursed. Some said the family was Uendi. Mom Nkem did not sleep that night. The wind moved through the mango tree above the 4 small graves, making the branches whisper like restless spirits. She sat on the ground, the wooden scepter resting across her lap. Its surface was smooth and dark, carved with strange symbols that no one in Umudara village could understand. But Mom Nkem understood them now, at least some of them. When she first received the scepter years ago, it looked ordinary. Just a piece of wood given by a strange woman at the crowded market in Onitsha. The woman had watched her closely. Too closely. "You carry hunger in your heart," the woman had said quietly. Mama Nkem laughed at the time. "Hunger? I am married. I have children." But the woman only smiled. Not that kind of hunger. The hunger for power. Those words had followed her home like a shadow. For weeks, she ignored the scepter. Then one night she heard it. A faint whisper, like someone calling her name from inside the wood. "Nkem." At first she thought she was dreaming, but the whisper came again. "Nkem, power is waiting." Curiosity slowly defeated fear. The voice taught her things. Small things at first. How to cause quarrels between neighbors. How to make someone fall sick for a few days. Each time she obeyed, the scepter grew warmer in her hands. Then the voice demanded something bigger. A life for strength. She refused. She was not a monster. But the voice did not stop. Night after night it spoke, promising influence, promising authority, promising a throne greater than any village title. Finally, the whisper said something that broke her resistance. "Your children will rule the world of spirits beside you." That was the lie that opened the gate. The first sacrifice happened soon after. Chinedu, even now, remembering his small face, made something twist deep inside her chest. Not guilt, something stranger, a dull emptiness. After his death, the scepter glowed for the first time. The voice laughed with satisfaction. And Mama, the night suddenly felt colder. Mama Nkem tightened her grip on the glowing scepter as she stared at her husband. Emeka stood a few steps away from the graves, breathing slowly, his eyes fixed on the carved wood in her hands. "Nkem, answer me," he said quietly. "Where did you get that scepter?" Mama Nkem forced a small laugh. "It is just a piece of wood from the market." But Emeka did not move. He did not blink. Instead, he walked closer. One step, then another. The dim moonlight fell on his face, revealing something Mama Nkem had never seen before. Fear. Real fear. "That is not ordinary wood," he said. The scepter in her hands suddenly grew warmer, as if reacting to his words. Mama Nkem's voice became sharp. "You are speaking nonsense." But Emeka shook his head slowly. "No, I know that thing. His eyes moved toward the 4 graves beneath the mango tree. His voice dropped to a whisper, and I know what it demands. For the first time since the deaths began, Mom Nkem felt her heart beat harder. How do you know? She asked. Emeka sighed deeply. For years he had buried this secret. He never imagined it would return to destroy his home. When I was a young man, he began slowly. Before I married you, I worked for a powerful native doctor in another village. Mama Nkem frowned. You never told me that. I was ashamed, Emeka replied. The wind rustled the dry leaves around them. That man dealt with things that should never exist. Spirits, sacrifices, cursed objects. His eyes returned to the scepter, and that is one of them. The whisper inside the wood suddenly hissed in Mama Nkem's ears. He knows too much. She ignored it. Then tell me, she said coldly. What do you know about it? Emeka hesitated. The memories were ugly. Years ago, his master had kept a sacred box locked inside a dark room. Inside that box rested a wooden staff. The same carvings. The same dark glow. The scepter chooses its owner, Emeka said slowly. It promises power, but it feeds on blue. Mama Nkem's fingers loosened around the scepter. For a moment, it almost slipped from her hands. Your mother? She whispered. Emeka nodded slowly, his face heavy with painful memories. Yes. The wind pushed through the compound again, carrying the smell of dry earth and fallen mango leaves. For years Emeka had hidden this truth. Not even his wife knew where he truly came from. My mother was feared in our village, he continued quietly. People said she had power that did not come from God. Mama Nkem's heart began to pound. The scepter in her hands was glowing brighter now, like a coal burning in darkness. She owned that same scepter, Emeka said. The whisper inside the wood hissed with delight. Yes, she remembers. Mama Nkem tried to ignore the voice. But you said she disappeared, she said quickly. Emeka swallowed. That is what people believed. He looked toward the mango tree. But I know the truth. Mama Nkem felt a chill crawl down her spine. What truth? Emeka's voice trembled slightly. She did not disappear. She died. The scepter suddenly vibrated violently. Mama Nkem almost dropped it. How? She asked. Emeka took a slow breath. I killed her. The words crashed into the night like thunder. Mama Nkem stared at him in disbelief. You killed your own mother? His eyes filled with sorrow. She had sacrificed too many people, even members of our own family. My father died mysteriously. My 2 sisters became sick and wasted away. The graves behind them seemed heavier in the silence. I was the only one left, Emeka continued. One night, I entered her shrine and stole the scepter while she slept. His voice became rough. I destroyed the ritual circle and burned the shrine. Mama Nkem's hands shook. But the scepter could not be destroyed. Emeka nodded slowly. It escaped. The whisper inside the wood laughed again. You see? Even he could not stop me. Mama Nkem's breathing grew faster. Then how did it come to me? She asked. Emeka looked at her CA. Emeka felt the ground beneath his feet grow cold. Our children were keys, he repeated slowly. Mama Nkem nodded. Her eyes shone strangely in the faint light of the moon. Yes. The scepter in her hand was glowing brighter now, casting a dull red light across the 4 small graves. For years Emeka believed the deaths were sacrifices for power. But Mama Nkem now understood the truth the scepter had been hiding. The whisper inside the wood spoke again, smooth and dark. The door is ready. Mama Nkem stood up slowly. Emeka quickly stepped in front of her. Nkem, listen to yourself, he cried. Those were our children. She stared at him with a calm expression that frightened him more than anger. They were more than that. The wind suddenly returned, swirling dust around the compound. Mama Nkem walked toward the mango tree. The graves were small mounds of earth, each marked with simple stones. Chinidu, Adiz, Obina, Kamsi. Emeka's chest tightened painfully. Nkem, stop, he pleaded. But she ignored him. She raised the glowing scepter and pointed it toward the graves. Immediately the ground began to tremble. Emeka staggered backward in shock. The soil around the graves started cracking. Lines spread across the earth like broken glass. What are you doing? He shouted. Mama Nkem's voice became strange and distant. Opening the door. The whisper inside the scepter echoed loudly now. The blood of the children unlocks the gate. Suddenly the ground beneath the mango tree sank slightly. A deep rumbling sound rose from below the earth. Emeka felt terror crawl through his bones. "What is beneath there?" he asked weakly. Mama Nkem did not look at him. "The throne." Her words sounded almost like a prayer. The cracks widened. Dust and dry soil began falling into the dark opening forming beneath the graves. Then something unexpected happened. A cold wind burst upward from the hole. It carried faint voices. Children's voices. Emeka froze. He recognized them immediately. Chinedu. The throne waited. Black, jagged, and alive with a strange hum. It rose fully from the earth beneath the graves. Mama Nkem's steps were slow, deliberate, each footfall pressing her deeper into a dark destiny she had chased for years. The scepter in her hand pulsed like a heartbeat, vibrating in rhythm with the dark throne. Emeka fell to his knees beside the hole, shaking. His voice trembled with fear and grief. "Nkem, don't do this." She paused for a single breath. Her eyes, cold as steel, met his. A faint shadow of the woman he had loved lingered there, then vanished. "I have done everything for this," she said softly. "Everything they told me would bring me power. Everything I was willing to pay for." The whisper inside the scepter surged, filling the air like a living thing. "Sit, queen. Claim your throne." Her heart quivered, not with doubt, but with anticipation. The scepter burned in her hands, a promise of all she had ever wanted. She stepped forward. One step. Two. The children's voices cried behind her. "Mama, don't." But Mama and Kim ignored them. They had been tools, keys, not people. She had convinced herself of their innocence only when it suited her. The final step brought her to the throne. It rose taller than a man, black as midnight, carved with the faces of the fallen. She looked down at the scepter, then at the empty seat. Slowly, deliberately, she lowered herself onto the throne. The moment she touched it, the earth shook violently. The four graves collapsed, sending soil tumbling into the pit. Dust and faint whispers rose like smoke. The throne absorbed them, growing taller, stronger, hungrier. Emeka screamed, rushing forward, but a force, cold and unyielding, pushed him back. He fell to the ground. His hands clawed at the edge of the pit. "Mama, you can't. They are your children." Mama and Kim's lips curved into a faint smile. "Yes, they were my children, and they are gone, just as the scepter promised, just as I wanted." The throne pulsed, a black heart. Mama and Kim sat on the black throne that had risen from the graves of her children. The scepter pulsed in her hand like a living heartbeat, its dark whispers filling the air. Behind her, the spirits of the children writhed silently, trapped forever, powerless to stop her. Emeka lay broken on the ground, tears streaming down his face. "Nkem, you can't," he cried. She looked at him, her eyes cold and distant. "I can. I have paid the price. I have sacrificed what I needed to." The wind stilled. The mango tree cast long shadows over the empty graves. The village would never understand. The world would never know, but Mom and Kim did not care. She had transformed grief into power, innocence into keys, and wickedness into a throne. As dawn crept over Umadara village, the scepter glowed faintly in her hands, a heartbeat of triumph. Mom and Kim smiled. Her children were gone. The world was none the wiser, and she, Queen of Shadows, had claimed her kingdom forever. The Scepter of Wickedness had chosen her, and nothing could ever take it away.